Okay, when I was asked to participate in this project, I was kind of excited because in the past years, the topic of death got kind of interesting to me. I am not sure why I suddenly started thinking about death a lot. I think it happened because I went to my very first adventure by myself. I went to spend a year in Europe, and it was something so exciting adventures wise that I think I realized how good it is. And I suddenly got scared that, for example, if I die, this is never going to happen again. And this is what made me think about this idea that there is no such thing as being scared of death. There is a thing that is called being scared of life, that like you do not live properly, you do not live vividly enough. That's what we are scared of. And I also have been noticing the same tendency in other people. For example, a friend of mine, she also actually, her story sounds exactly the same. She went for her kind of first adventure by herself. And as soon as she came back to Moscow, she kind of started contemplating and thinking about it more and more and more. And yeah, as far as I know, now she's struggling with these thoughts that are related to death. I think other than that, I have never been aware of death because I have never faced death like properly in my life. Yeah, because I think all of my grandparents died when I was young. And other than that, I have never faced something like this before. And after that, fortunately or unfortunately, I think the first time I kind of started studying the subject of death was when I read a book, and it's called something like Smoke Gets into Ice, and it's written by a person who works in chromatology. And basically, it's memoirs of a person who works with dead people and prepares them for their last journey. And it's quite an interesting piece, and I definitely can recommend it. And I found it kind of inspiring because this person, she thinks that death is a taboo in our society, and she thinks that it's crucial to change it and go in the opposite direction to talk more about death. Because death, if you think about it, in our life, death is the only, like literally the only thing we can be sure about. And in her book, she is covering a lot of topics. For example, just her everyday work, how she prepares corpses to be burned. She also describes her experiences that are connected to death and how she faced death for the first time and what she felt. And it's interesting just to read about it and to compare your own experiences with hers, definitely. And I really found this piece profound for some reason. And I feel that maybe to make person think more through this subject, it's definitely a piece to read and definitely the piece to recommend. Yeah, I feel that the more I started thinking about death, the more I kind of started living more aware of what's happening around me and what I am doing with my life and how I'm treating people. Because also when I started thinking about death, I also started thinking about not only about the fact that I can die, but also that my loved ones can die, and also not necessarily my loved ones, also like my friends and acquaintances, my cats, all like everybody I love. And that also made me feel kind of vulnerable because that made me realize that, for example, I think it made me feel guilt because I got aware how much time I'm wasting on things that do not deserve this time. That, for example, instead of surfing through the internet, I could like spend more time, I don't know, with my mother, for example, or with my brother and his family. And I feel that's one of the reasons one should be aware of death and one should discuss death matters with other people, because just like to live more aware, to be more aware of your surroundings and your lifestyle. It's a quite fashionable word nowadays to be word awareness. And I feel it's kind of connected to the subject of death directly. And yeah, and I feel that maybe my theory is that the key to leading the most aware life as possible, you need to kind of remind yourself constantly of the fact that like it's not going to last forever. You have something to lose. You have a lot of things to lose, beginning from starting from yourself and like ending with other people that are close to you. And that's how you can remind yourself that you need to take the opportunities while you still can.